right? And even showing up if you don't feel like it. This is life. This is actually what makes the difference. Show up for yourself and show up for others, even if you don't feel like it. That's the only difference. It's not anything else.
Welcome back to another episode of the Succeed Against the Odds show. Today as my guest, I have a dear friend and very, very special person, Sandra Rechsteiner.
You are rocking it.
Did I say it right?
Of course you did.
I've been trying to practice the actual pronunciation. So
you rocked it.
I'm sure it wasn't 100%, but we're getting there, right?
You rock it.
Sandra, you are what I would consider to be an example, a role model for many entrepreneurs who want to get out there, get their message out, and have their visibility seen as pure, with integrity, from the heart, no filters.
Thank you.
That's what I see. So for those of you who don't know Sandra, Sandra is an entrepreneur, and she is online all the time.
All the time.
All the time. You do, how many Facebook Lives do you do a week?
I do daily one. Yes.
Every day? 7 days a week?
Every day. There might be, one or two exceptions, but yes.
Can you tell our audience what it is that you do? Then we'll get a little bit into your background on who you are, what prompted you to do what you're doing. But just for those who don't know you, not a lot of us know you, but for those who don't know you, can you share a little bit about who Sandra is?
Who Sandra is? Sandra is Swiss made. Just talked about
like chocolate,
like
the
chocolate.
best chocolate.
And I'm addicted to Swiss chocolate. That's a little
Pink
side note.
Pink chocolate,
exactly. And white chocolate and dark chocolate. I go for any chocolate.
So, all kinds of chocolate.
No. I'm Swiss made, and we immigrated 5 years to beautiful Canada. And it's actually a self-discovering journey, which is Ask Me on point, right? So leaving everything behind, the corporate world, the status, the achievements, the lifestyle, the accomplishment, the perfect life, jumping and actually discovering, what the true meaning and purpose is in life. Long story short, it brought me to beautiful Canada with my family, and I'm just so blessed to be on this journey, which was not easy and is not easy, right? But it is kind of a gift to learn every day along the way. And yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur back in Switzerland, the coaching, training, potential management industry, and I became a network marketing professional here in Canada. And it's my calling, it's my passion. It's about empowering other women. It's way more than a product or a service. It's kind of it's a global mission, it's a calling. Yeah, and empower women to own their greatness, to show up real, authentic, and raw.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this, and just so you know, Sandra has no idea what I'm going to ask her today.
No idea.
She's like, I don't know what we're doing. And I'm like, good.
Good, this is how
good.
She likes it.
Yes, I do like it like this, because I just feel, I like the answers to be organic and come from the heart, right? So if you're not prepared, that's the way it works. And I want to talk about network marketing because you are so good at it. And I know from personal experience, because a long time I was involved in network marketing, and it wasn't something for me. I know the struggles that come along with it. I also know the rewards that come along with it. And because you rock it, I want to ask you questions that can help some of our audience who may be in network marketing or may be considering being in network marketing, and maybe they're afraid to be because
the stigma,
there is a stigma. And maybe I'll start by asking you first, why do you think there is that stigma?
Good question. I believe from my own experience that any profession has a stigma. Okay, so human resource manager, corporate world. What comes into your mind when you think about this girl, right? It's like, you know, you have a picture in mind, an insurance guy who sells insurance and knocks on your door, right? A sales shark. Like network marketing has a stigma as well, because most of the people have not been educated and taught enough to do it the right way.
I'm so glad you said that.
That's just, I think,
I am so glad you said that, because I personally, based on my personal experience and based on what I have seen, a lot of the people that have gotten involved in network marketing and have not done so well and they have struggled is because they've lacked the proper training, and they've pretty much been left on their own on how to go about it. And in a way, a lot of them have been misled into believing that it's easy. Oh, you can just stay at home and just the money will just come. And it's not
overnight,
like that. Overnight.
Rich quick, right?
And the thing is, it really is, in my opinion, and I have all the respect when I say this, in my opinion, it is a position where you are working 100% on commission. And when you're working like that, and the same, it's entrepreneurship is like no matter what your business is. When you're relying on that, you have to put as much effort into network marketing as you would into starting a business, where you have to create a whole business plan, you know, get your brick and mortar if you need your brick and mortar, do your marketing, do your every aspect, the way you're going to approach your potential clients versus just kind of family and friends, and then they're going to shut the door on you, right? If it's not done properly.
Yes, and I love it that you say that, because today, because I knew the traditional entrepreneurship as well, so, and the network marketing entrepreneurship, there is actually no difference. I mean, from the mindset. And it's we are all entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And it's a mindset. If we treat it as a business, it costs us money. If we treat it as a hobby, it costs us money. If we treat it in a mindset as a business, it makes us money, right? And it's really a mindset shift. But this being said, it's way easier. And this is also why maybe that stigma comes for everyone to get started, right? Because there is no risk included, there is no investment. I mean, it's so minimal investment, right? We all know what kind of risk it is to become an entrepreneur. There's nothing. So this is why it makes it so easy. It can be an opportunity for everyone with the right mindset and with the hunger to grow and learn every day, right? But it's for me, no difference between a traditional entrepreneur, except the business model. Right. But from the mindset, no. And I think that's one of the keys for so many to understand. You are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But this is so cool, right? With less risks, you know?
So, Sandra, for someone who may be considering getting involved with a network marketing business that speaks to them, just because of the really low financial investment, not time investment, right? Not effort investment. That's the thing I think that's lacking is low financial investment, but there is time investment that is absolutely required.
I love it. May I say?
Absolutely.
You just said something so good. It's so true. And you know what? This is one thing that the biggest struggle I also see, because it's such a low investment. Think about if you had to invest 100,000 or 50,000 to get your business started. You would put more effort in it. You would say, oh, today I don't feel it, I don't do anything, right? But if you just need to invest $100 to get your business started, it's easy to say, you know, today, and you get even products and services, today nothing, right? And then you wonder why it doesn't work. Sorry, I had just to add to it.
No, that's
because you said it on point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
on point. Sorry, just got all excited.
Yeah, that's okay. We like excited. So, Sandra, what led you to get into network marketing? What was your thing? Because you said you were in corporate before, so that's quite the jump. You're going from corporate coaching and now network marketing. What was the jump? What's the missing link in between the two?
Good question. So make it fast. I mean, so the jump happened actually when we decided to leave everything behind and we left Europe, Switzerland, not knowing what will wait for us here. We had no job, nothing. Like, my husband and my son pursuing, actually looking for a meaning and purpose in life. This brought us back that we started with $10 jobs. I started, as a waitress again. You do whatever it takes. My husband,
You mean like $10 an hour?
$10 an hour, right? Yeah. An employee again, because you do whatever it takes. And then I realized soon I'm definitely employable, kind of, And I just okay, let's do
Unemployable is that what you said?
It's kind of, yeah. Yes, I'm owning it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too.
But it's like, yeah, whatever. So I decided, okay, let's do a business again. And then, I because of my health journey, I decided to go into health and fitness to make, because it's always been part of me, and I did all the certificates, and I started my own lifestyle fitness coaching. But then I was at that moment where I still thought, okay, I've been there before. And I'm still, trading money for hours. So if I don't work, there is no income. And then I was open, and this was the change when I got invited to the Millionaire Mind T. Harv Eker seminar. All about money, blueprint, passive income. What's mindset. Passive income, residual income? And I learned about, no one taught me that at school, what's residual income. I had no education, and I was intrigued. And so network marketing got introduced to me in Switzerland way back then, but the business model, I was not ready for it. And then sooner or later, it was just, I fell in love with the business model. So long story short, I educated myself because I had a lack of education, because I had all that stigma thoughts about it. So I educated myself.
A lot of people do.
On the profession itself. I attended, and I fell in love with the profession. But it took me a while to admit it. I'm a network marketing professional, right? And then it was, once I figured it out, how genius it is, this is the solution, right? Empowering and helping others. It's always something that I've done, right? And now do it for good. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I love your live Facebook lives. So if you're not following Sandra, you may want to follow Sandra, because she has some very awesome lives every day. Yeah, you're a pretty cool chick. So
gotta have fun, right?
You gotta have fun. And no, but what I like about you is that it's not all about fun. You bring rawness to your Facebook lives, even though you may not know that sometimes I'm watching. Yes. But obviously I don't have time to watch all of them, but I do catch some of your replays most of the time. And I'm like, there's definitely something very powerful to the way you connect with the audience, whether it's your existing clientele, whether it's your team, whether it's your just basic network, or whether it's people that don't even know you. Your heart is out there completely, and that's what I love about you, and I think that's what all of us love about you. It's just you're you, and you have this passion for life, and you're so energetic. And I've had days when I haven't felt, I've told you this before, some days I feel like, and I go, if Sandra were here, I would have to be all perked up because you have so much energy. It's contagious. So where did you get that energy from?
Hey, that's a good question. I think it's seriously, one part, it's the story. How I, for sure, the story. And
you want to share your story?
Quickly? Yeah, the story quickly. So I grew up in a household where there was not much joy and not much love shown, right? And so I always kind of, was craving for the love, which I did not really receive. I know today my mom and my parents did their very best, and it had nothing to do with me, right? So, but at the end, and so I was always, then surrounded by amazing people who gave me the strength and the energy. And then I met my husband really early. So, and I, for the first time, realized how it feels when you receive that unconditional love. And this brighten, it's like, kind of a newborn thing going on in me, that someone loves you unconditionally and empowers you, believes in you, because I did not know that, right? How it feels like if someone believes in you, it just magic can happen, right? If someone is there, and then you start building those people around you. And I just realized, wow. And then the one thing that really changed my life was when I was trying to hustle and prove myself in the corporate world. Status, achievements. Remember, I wanted to be good enough. Still that lack of, being good enough. And then my body said stop one day. So yeah, that's the actual story when I got diagnosed with a terminal cancer, which changed everything. Everything. So this is a second chance. And this is, every day is a gift. It's a joyful life. And it's my mission to empower others because I received it. And I know what everyone is capable of when you're appreciated, validated, empowered, because people believe in you, right? It's like we do life together. We don't dim lights on one another. And everyone is just, can level up and just can become more and give more and be more. So yeah, I made it to my mission now to do this, what I've received, for others, right? Because I know for a fact, when I work with women, there are so many of us. We're so our own worst critics. We're so hard on ourselves, right? Most of us, struggle to not feel worthy at some point. Or we question entrepreneurs. I know sometimes even I question, does it really work? Always question ourselves. So yeah, it's that joy for a second for life, right? Because life is a gift.
Well, we won't go too much in the details of your whole illness because I know it's something we don't want to dwell on. But it is quite remarkable because it was terminal and now you're alive. How many years later?
It took me 8 years to crush it, and now it's 14 years.
So 14 years and you beat it. So totally succeeding against the odds, totally on point. Sandra, I've had a lot of guests in my show, and I know on top of that, I know a lot of people who have had a life-death situations where they survived, and they all have this same thing in common where now they see life differently and they see the potential in everyone. What actually happens? What is it that happens? What is that change that happens in the mind? In your opinion, why all of a sudden we see the potential?
In others as well and in ourselves, you mean? Yeah.
Yes.
It's that shift that happens when let's say before, it was all about me. It's like I tried consistently to fit in, to prove myself, to achieve, to go, to please others, right? It's like, it's exhausting. I mean, yeah, it was exhausting.
So you're living for others.
Exactly. When we go really in the deep, it's like, it's a pleasing others in the main thing, right? Because it's a lack of worthiness, of, whatever, just being good enough if you have that certificate or that. And all of a sudden, if that happens, you have that, hey, I had 3 months, right? My son was 2.5, 3 months. My son was 2.5, almost 3. All of a sudden, this does not matter. It does not matter anymore. What school grades you had, what certificates you had, how much money you make. You cannot take it with you, right?
You can't take it with you.
All the things that you buy. I mean, nothing against things, but all that matters are the people that you're surrounded with, the people you love, and the priceless memories and precious memories that you can create and that you can cherish forever. And all of a sudden, everything else becomes less. It's meaningless, not meaningless. That's a bit harsh.
It's not as important anymore.
It's not as important anymore because, yes, it's like, and then I started, like, make every day count. I mean, we just left Australia, no job, nothing, because like you live like today's the end, right? And
you went from Switzerland to Australia.
Yeah, just for 6 months. We just packed and left everything because we wanted to stay as a family because it could be over tomorrow, right? So you just cherish the moments and you start really appreciating people way more. The people that are in your life, and you cannot stop saying it because at the end, this is what matters. Yes, and all of a sudden, life became less about me. You know, coming back, it's more about because at the end, the things, the statuses, the achievements, again, they have less meaning for me. It's more about the contribution instead of what can I get more, what can I give more, right? Because at the end, that's that feeling of fulfillment that fills my heart. It's not a right or wrong. It's just, but you asked me for the shift. Does it make sense?
Yes, totally does. Totally does. And you also see the potential in others more clearly than you did before? Or is it the same?
Yes, and you know why? I wouldn't necessarily say that I didn't see it before, but remember, I mean, when I said, you know, I was more self-centered. Okay.
Got it.
So it's just a mindset shift and a perspective shift, because as soon as I started caring less about myself, I mean, caring, that's the wrong word, but you know, being so focused on how do I look, what, you know, what can I achieve, where can I get the next gig, where I can get more money, where can I do this? As soon as I shifted everything from me to other, I started deciding to share it more, what I see in others. Before, maybe not necessarily didn't see it, but more that
The focus is
shift.
more
Thank
on
you.
that.
Thank you. Because at the end, it's way more fulfilling if you see, right, others shine.
Yes. It's more rewarding.
Yeah, totally. And
rewarding.
no money, no things, nothing can take that.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah.
And in the end, they say, you know, what we remember is really not how much money you made. It's the moments. It's the moments.
I've chills. Yeah.
Our life is really made of moments, and that's what we remember.
Yes. And true, authentic, and real connections. You know, that you can, at the end, right? It's like as soon as you start opening up, right, and see the beauty in others, it's like you can start opening up and you have way more authentic and real connections. And at the end, this is what life is about. Life doesn't get easier, right?
No, so you might as well make it interesting and fun.
Exactly.
Which is what you do. Which is what you do. You do that. You do that even like when you open your heart, and sometimes you cry and you're sharing your most deepest personal things online. There's still, I wouldn't say fun, but there's that, I don't know, like you said, I think the word is connection, and it just makes it just brings it to a whole other level.
It's nice you said that nicely.
You know?
It's, yeah, and at the end, you know, I honestly, I tried many years, because me growing up, you know, we had kind of, how can I explain that? Outside of our doors, when I grew up, everyone thought everything is perfect. Okay? But behind the curtains, nothing was perfect. Okay? Nothing. So I grew up, you laugh, doesn't make sense.
Oh,
okay,
totally,
good. Just,
I think it's very common.
Okay, this is a common thing, right?
Yes.
So this is, you know, as a kid that I realized, and at the end, it's about the more, again, when I shift, because again, it's, I believe today it's so ego and self-centric, right? We want to all show us for the best side. I mean, it's nothing wrong about that, right? It's nothing wrong about that, but it's about, I rather connect with someone who's real and raw, because we all know that behind the curtains, life is not perfect, right? And the more we share, or I decided to share it, because you never know how you can assist, right? Because we all know we are not alone, and we can learn from one another. And this is what I also love for my online world, because the people I connect with, they inspire me daily, right? It's like you learn and feed from one another by sharing life together.
You know what you said? You said that you're so on point, because I've personally been inspired by people I never imagined would inspire me, just by something they did, something they said, an experience they had. You know, like you can't dismiss anyone.
And everyone has gifts to share.
Exactly.
And sometimes the slight little thing can make the huge difference. Yeah, I agree. And this is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so
let's get back to business.
Back to business.
Back to
I love
business.
it.
Back to business. So, what would you say? Because you are definitely like you're online every day. You are extra committed. I don't even say committed. You notice I say extra committed.
So sweet.
What I see is you go the extra mile. You're crushing it. And what would be your advice or tips that you'd like to share on how to crush it like you do? What gives you that mojo to get online every day, even when you don't feel like it?
Okay, it's a good point. It's okay, first of all, that I show up. That's a biggie for me. My life learned me in those 8 years crushing the cancer holistically, a lot of mindset. If I had one day they decided not to show up for myself, I would be screwed. So I think that commitment, when I'm committed, I'm on. Okay, because
You just said it.
It's like
if you don't show up one day, you're screwed.
yes, and you let yourself down. I mean, not you.
Yeah.
I let myself down,
Yeah.
and so this is something I'm so passionate about in whatever people do. Right? It's like show up for yourself. Right? But that's why I'm going online. It's like ingrained now through my thing, and also of course I do it for everyone out there. I do it specifically for my team. I mean, or for my customers and for the people that I inspire, right, on a daily basis. Because it's like leading by example, right, and even showing up if you don't feel like it. This is life. This is actually what makes the difference. Show up for yourself and show up for others, even if you don't feel like it. That's the only difference. It's not anything else.
It's being selfless.
I love that.
Because if you're showing up for others, it's not about you.
Yeah.
I mean, I confess. I mean,
Love it.
I've had many times where I've wanted to show up and then didn't because I don't want to take the time to make myself presentable enough to be to not scare anyone. You don't want to see me first thing in the morning, trust me. But I've had those times where, there've been those days where I'm like, I don't want to do a video, I don't want to take a picture, I don't want to do any of that and that's a selfish way of thinking.
Love
So
it that you mentioned
I
that.
own that. It's selfish because I'm thinking about me, my efforts that it'll take, the effort that it will take to get to do what I need to do. But you're coming from the perspective, it's not about me, it's about showing up for them, and this is for them.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, and that shifts everything. It's like you start serving the bigger purpose than yourself. And this is what it is all about, right? And it does not need to be perfect. That's something that I learned. Right?
It does not need to be perfect.
No, right? I mean,
just not scary.
I bet I'm scared. It's scary when people see me.
I know
see me all over.
I know you do all kinds
of
of things. Like I've seen you with face masks. I've seen you with all kinds of things
right.
online. But that's kind of entertaining, though. It's done on purpose, so it's a little different than what I'm talking about being scary.
I know.
Right?
But at the end, it's like I remember a good friend of mine. I don't know. Maybe she will watch that ever or not. It doesn't matter. It comes from my heart. Okay. She's
so
actually
friends,
good.
you're gonna have to share this with your friends.
I know.
Friends, whoever you are.
Pressure is on. Pressure is on.
You don't have to say the name. You just send her the.
I sent her that. But she's I've never seen one of my best friends without makeup. I did that for the first time when we actually stayed over and out there before we packed and immigrated to Canada. At 6 a.m. because we were traveling, we saw each other on the hallway, and I was,
it was a different face.
Different face.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. But as of that moment, it shifted. I loved her even more because she showed up real and raw.
You saw the real
and
person.
I back then I was not there yet, to share that encouragement with her.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I was too self-centered. But today, right, later, I told her that. And it boosted her confidence. Right? It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, beauty comes from the inside,
It does,
right?
it does.
It's
It
really,
totally
and
is.
how you feel about yourself, right? And this is why, you know, it's so easy to just to leave a word and just for encouragement, right? Because it needs courage to look scary. I mean, this is real.
It is real.
It's real.
It is real. Yeah.
We're real. Right? Let's own it.
Well, I mean, the thing with the makeup part, like, you know, when it comes to women, although now,
Yeah.
especially for curated videos, recorded, typically now even men start putting makeup on just to have a higher quality, so that there's no distractions. Because unfortunately, we tend, as humans, we tend to judge based on first appearance. So from my perspective, I think if you're just getting out there, that it's important to show your best forward, and then not be afraid to show all
I
aspects
agree.
of you.
I agree.
Just because that first impact really matters. You can't make a good second impression. You can't make a good first impression the second time around.
Yeah,
There's only one
that.
chance to make a good first impression, right?
I totally hear you, and I agree. You know, at the end, do whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah,
Right? This
you
is
gotta
so
feel
important.
comfortable. Yeah,
That you can show up authentic.
yeah,
Right? I think at the end, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how you look like. You need to love yourself,
Yeah.
because when you love yourself for who you are, then you are real and authentic,
Yeah.
right? And then people love you for being real and authentic, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
So Sandra, is there anything you'd like to share with our audience? Anything you'd like to add, or on anything?
On anything.
Anything.
On anything.
It's total open canvas.
on anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Just dare to jump. Whatever. I know so many of you, I can say that because it was me, sometimes still me, we have things that we want to do, right? And then we are holding ourselves back because maybe, you know, we want to be too perfect, we can't do it, we keep ourselves telling all these stories why we can't, and then we just miss out. We just miss out in life, right? We just miss out on opportunities while not taking a shot and a chance. It's like, because we are so worried what other people think if we fail, right? It's like,
That's a
just
biggie.
jump.
That is a
It's
biggie.
a
That is a
biggie.
biggie. Worrying about, you know what, I held back for many years, literally years, because of comments that people had made, and it made me, and then it just kind of makes you retreat. But it just got to a point where, like, no more, it doesn't matter what anybody says. If you have your purpose and you have your mission, and you know you have something that is worth sharing, and that it's going to make a positive impact, then it doesn't matter what anybody says. And that's why it's so important it kind of brings me back to what you were saying earlier. It's so important to surround ourselves with people who support us. You were very, very, very blessed and very lucky to have met your husband, being a very supportive human being, being there for you all the way through, from the beginning till now. We see your photos with them. You're a role model as a couple as well, not just yourself. But it just shows how important it is to have that group of positive people around you, because you will always encounter, I find that it doesn't matter where you're at in life, you will always encounter negative people. The important thing is to make sure that your closest circle, or that you have more of the positive people and supportive people than the negative ones.
I love that. That's so powerful, and that's so powerful, and it's so that's so good. And at the end, I realized, you know, it's really about, the more you care about others, the more you can grow together, and the more magic is happening. It's really taking the focus away, and so if you have that environment like you describe it, it's so way easier. It's so way easier. And at the end, success is not defined about the status, about the money, about the achievement. It's about the person who you are, right? It's about the values you stand for, right? Like, you know, like integrity, you know, humility, and you know, contribution, all that stuff. So it's a shift. You don't have to prove yourself to others.
You don't have to. You know
don't
what?
have to.
Okay, because I was gonna go.
Yes.
So when we talk about focusing on others and not and being selfless, I think we need to also be careful. Sometimes, and I've made this mistake in the past. Sometimes we take it upon ourselves into believing that being selfless means at our own expense.
No.
And we need to be careful that that is not what it means. I think self-care is crucial. We can't help others. We can be selfless in helping others, but at the same time,
Good
we
point.
also need to, we're
Priorities.
also a priority. So selfless and helping others does not mean putting yourself last, and does not mean
Good
not
point.
taking care of yourself, because I've done that. And
Good point.
And it's been
Good
very
point.
painful lesson doing that. So I want to make sure that our audience
No,
is very clear on this particular.
This is genius that you mentioned that, because this is perfect, because this happened to me too. Remember my cancer? It just stopped and said, no. It's a good point. Self-care, priority, number one. Good point. Because today people say, me always, she's so busy. Honestly, 80% of the time, it's me, myself, and I. Right? And if I say no to people, it's because I need so much time.
And you said no to me before.
I said no to you before.
She has said no to me
Yeah.
where we were supposed to meet.
Yes.
And at the last minute, you sent me a note saying, you know what, I need me time. This is not a good time. And I totally
Yeah, it was
respected
exactly
that.
when my dad died.
And
I mean, he was about to die.
I'm so
Exactly.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when things, family is first, and right, because we cannot
Yeah.
serve ourselves first. But if this is in a line, right, then everything is possible. Yes. Good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah.
I just want to make sure that the audience understands that
Yeah.
we're not saying go out there, be selfless, and at your own expense, because that's not what we're saying.
No.
So, no.
Do it for the right reasons.
Do it for the right reasons.
The right reasons.
The right reasons.
Right? The right reasons.
And people need us to be at our best, or we can't really serve them. We can't serve, we can't help if we're not at our best, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sandra, you're awesome.
I love you.
And I love you.
I love you. You're awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Okay, well, let's tell our audience. I'm going to have you tell our audience where they can find you so they can follow you.
Facebook.
And you're also on Instagram.
Yes, I'm on the Instagram as well. So it's my first and last name.
Okay.
Yeah, you will find me.
The link is below.
And I
the
actually
notes.
wear the same shirt.
And I forgot to bring my plaid shirt. We'll have to do another one.
I love it.
We'll have to do another. We'll do a
one,
follow-up.
It's one of my 43 items. So.
And I'll wear my, okay, you know what? Let's talk about that quickly before we go. I did see that. I haven't asked you about that. I've forgotten. So I did see that you decided to simplify, which I love.
Simplify my life.
Simplify, and you've narrowed your closet, is it, to 43 items?
Exactly. That's just one part of the project. Yes.
How did that start?
Okay, so it actually, the process started way long ago, but it got really initiated now 2 months ago when my dad died. This, together with watching The Minimalists on Netflix, highly recommend the series. I don't get paid for it. I'm just sharing, you know, what's super influential. And The Purpose-Driven Life, it's a book. It's genius. This combined just got me started, because my dad was such a simple, humbled man. He's passionate for flowers. And I remember as a teenager, I talked about status, me stating status. I was even ashamed of him.
Really?
Because he had not achieved, he was just an easy, simple gardener. No doctor, or, you know, no lawyer, no one to show off.
No big title.
You know, no one to show off. And I remember it's so good, right? And the older I got, the more I really appreciated his kindness, his humility, and he was always there for others, but he was so happy with himself on his, you know, it's hard to describe. And now the past 2 years were just amazing with him. And when he died, it's like, you know, he gave me from heaven this message. Like, you know, it's about success is about who you are. It's about the joy that you feel inside. And Simplify Your Lives got started. I realized on top of it, I don't need any things anymore. So I wanted to simplify my life. And yeah, I went down to 43 clothing item that was instantly my closet. It was so easy to do. I was wow impressed. I donated everything to a local charity. It went so fast. And yes, 43 items including shoe, accessoires, except sports gear, of course. And it feels so freeing, let me tell you. It's like, wow.
It does. It does. You know what? Sometimes you do that by default, because I don't know if you know, but years ago, I lost everything in a fire. So, and it was like, you have nothing, but you know, it was kind of, in a way, it was freeing.
Wow.
I didn't have much to start with. It was freeing. And then of course, I moved and I started accumulating things again. And then I downsized again, and it just felt freeing again. And now I've moved into a bigger place and things are creeping in. And I'm like, no, I don't like this. Simplify. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I don't want stuff. So yes, I totally get it. I love the simplicity.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Yeah.
Anyway.
It's cool.
Follow Sandra, because she will inspire you on a daily basis, whether you do network marketing or not. It does not matter.
It's not about it's not exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Sandra.
Thank you.
It's been
You're
awesome. And
You're awesome.
there you go.
Isn't she awesome?
A woman after my own heart.